I am Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is the author of the book In Through the Window, and other than Mr. Lintao L.T. Low. Welcome, Mr. LT, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yeah, good morning, Daniel. Good morning to your audience. I'm Lintao Lu. I just published the book In Through the Window, on Forging Your Own Path to Success, published by Forbes this April. So I'm very pleased to be a guest in your program.
Well, Mr. LT, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to us as well to the world. Here on Book 101 Review, we salute you, we celebrate you. Thank you. So today, let's talk about you and the writing process of your book. You were born in rural China during the Cultural Revolution. What is the vivid childhood memory that now see the seed of your relentless drive?
Yeah, that for young generations, this seems like a remote a history that's it's over 60 years ago. This is in 1960s. That's 10 years of culture revolution. It actually is culture disaster, if you will. And from 1966 to 1976. So that is a 10 years period in the formative years, if you will. And I was born in 1960. And so that definitely left an imprint in my psyche, if you will. And I think overall this is disastrous things, and but there are some things is still left with me, whether you like it or not. I was treated as a Chinese virtues. Like serve the people, although right, the communists may either they intended that way, but actually the consequence is not, or contrary to that. But I think overall thinking is right. And if you read my book, there's the foolish old man moved the mountain. You think about this persistence and everything like that. And so I think this kind of is very Oriental, if you will, and the Chinese. This is persistence, hard work, and so if you take the ideology, right, and the things out of these things, it is some things still within me, so that that's quite typical, not only for me, I think for our generation of the people from China.
Very well said, Mr. LT. The title In Through the Window suggests an unconventional entry point. What window did you slip through, and what door was close to you at the time?
Yeah, this is the title, Daniel, is quite symbolic. To me, the door is the conventional path that really the recognition, expected success, and a straightforward advance, if you will. The window represents something different. Window is an alternative path. Window is a new way of looking at things. You can see the window is new consciousness, a fresh view of the look, a different perspective. So this is that's how this is the symbolism, if you will, of this book. Back to your question, that the window, I encountered many closed doors, and in everyday circumstances, I did not weep, I did not complain, and I just find my window, or I just take a detour, find another path forward. I have many of these examples, and I just one of them is during my 4th years in France, pursuing my doctoral program. That's in 1982. China is just opening up, is very backward. And my French is, I just have 3 months of learning of the French. And it is very poor. And my academic background is so much backward compared to the, at that time, the modern world, if you will, France, Europe, US. And I'm completely not prepared for that rigorous doctoral program there. And that for 6 months is like hell for me. It's very tough 6 months, and I only sleep like 2 to 3 hours a day. I pick up smoking, unfortunately, very bad. Mm-hmm. In college, mm-hmm. I did not smoke, but I had to wake myself up. I drink this dark French coffee. If you live in France, this coffee is not Americano. It is very dark coffee in many cups just to keep me awake. So that is the if you will, the first window I try so hard to climb through. And in my life, I have many of these windows, but I learned a lesson. If the door is closed, you should not wait. And if you really look hard enough, long enough, persistent enough, there's a window out there.
Mr. LT, growing up in poverty, was there a specific moment when you realized the system was not designed for someone like you? And how do you respond?
That Daniel, the last example is in the corporate America. I work hard, and I am a fast learner on the, as far as engineering, as far as the working with people, everything. But yet the certain things in corporate America is that structure is so complex, is driven by some things that at least beyond my comprehension. And what's end up, I work at a higher, which is a global leader in the appliance, number 1 actually worldwide. And in this over 10 years ago now, 2016, Haier acquired GE Appliances. It's one of top-notch GE brand, you think about it. And I was the leader for Haier's air conditioning operation. So it's Haier acquired GE. I thought I will be running the combined operation. Guess what? It's completely out of my expectation. I was marginalized, pushed aside, and at the end, I lost my job there. So this is, the door is really slammed, closed, stable, just in front of me. And but that's a big opportunity, actually, and I decided it's enough. I'm not going to work for another corporate because I have worked for 3 or 4 like multinationals. That's when I decided to start my own business. And, at the end, now almost 10 years, NAVAC has become an industry leader in HVAC tools in the industrial vacuum. So I'm very grateful that actually I made that move. If not because this setback, I probably won't be able, or to take that plunge. So yes, that's the one of latest examples that go through the window.
Mr. LT, as the multilingual executive navigating both Eastern and Western business worlds, when have you felt most like the cultural outside in your own skin?
I feel the outsider almost all the time for somehow, perhaps because my background, I always feel like I have an underdog because I was born in rural China in 60s. China is very backward country. Forget about electricity, running water, everything. I literally born in a mother war house, and the getting enough food is a luxury. So I have empty stomach, feeling the stomach pain, went to bed, and wake up next morning still feel stomach pain. So this is something you really cannot forget. It's your muscle, if your body memory, if you will. So in China also, still today, for young generations, sounds like very hard to comprehend. China is still like two war, rural population and the urban population. Wherever you born, there's so-called household registration, almost like a caste system. If you're born in the rural China, you are second class citizen. So I was born there, and then I went to city to have my college education. I was like a first student from my village. So obviously, compared to those city folks, they all speak with Mandarin without accent. I'm Chinese. I have a pretty bad accent. So Daniel, you may have some. I'm speak with accent. So if you have some trouble to understand me, sorry. And
no worries.
So then I was as an immigrant, right, to France, in a new language, new culture. By the way, dramatic different war. It's advanced capitalism was a very backward communist. And when I come to U.S., same thing. That my English is just reading scientific English or for engineering, if you will, and your daily communication, everything is pretty backward. That's why you see a lot East Asian engineers, everything, but very few, right, in leadership management positions, because we're good at the work that things, at the do what you do, but is pretty poorly represented as who you are. Because, partly because culture and us other, because language. And then I get into, from engineer transition to management to leadership, and from executive to entrepreneur. So it's pretty much, I wrote in my book, I have a lot first, but that's also a lot, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to adopt. So I always feel that this type of outsider, imposter, if you will. And again, that's not unique to LT. I think it's a lot of people, particularly for the immigrant from East Asia, Southeast Asia, and for the fourth generation professionals, leaders, for the young folks without privileged background, I think they will go through that, and there will be face the rejections. They will have this outsider imposter syndrome. So I hope my book will shed some light for those folks.
Well said, Mr. LT. So, what is one deeply ingrained Chinese value that served you brilliantly in the West and one that you had to consciously unlearn?
Yeah, I think one value in Chinese culture is collectivity. The particularly during the early 60s when during my childhood, everything belongs to so-called people's commune. Even the you don't have your personal kitchen. You all eating together, like you're in the dormitory. You're in the campus kitchen, and so you are just one nut in the bolts of the gigantic machine, if you will. And this, of course, that's extreme during the Cultural Revolution. That's extreme, but that's very much Chinese. Is like, it's not say, hey, you mean nothing for collectivity, but you don't mean very much to if you look at your small family, your big family, your community, you name it, your country. So that kind of collectivity, that's very, in my view, now I actually living in the U.S., in Western worlds, twice as longer as I live in China. I've been in U.S. for over 40 years. And so I see this is diametrically different, particularly in U.S., which is very much independent, a free country, the country of free, the land of brave, right? That individualism is very much a hallmark of America. Innovation, creative thinking, all that things, a lot of things I had to unlearn. Yet, I'm not really picking the size. I think the Eastern and the Western each has its place. And for myself, I'm not considered I'm just a Chinese or I just American. Actually, I a mix of that, East and West, because that only these two you integrate, right? I really think it's a blessing for me to experience both worlds. One of Chinese philosophy is yin and yang. These things all change, and you will ultimately become or integrated. You will become more like wholeness, if you will, if you look at the both sides of the wall.
Mr. LT, in Through the Window is described a story of great and reinvention. What is reinvention you most proud of, and which one was the most painful?
I'm very proud that my late, in very late stage of my life, when I did not get my dream job at the GE in a high merged operation, I was already 56 years old. I mean, a lot of folks at that stage will probably think about retirement. So I just have some things inside me that, I since a very young age, I wanted to set an example for next generation. And so this is the drive is always there, and that's a sense of purpose. You can call the mission, right? Your mission in the life. So I really found another path is I started the NAVAC is from zero up. This brand was non-existent 10 years ago. We don't have a single customer. And so I started basically in my living room and, get to the current stage. This is, I will see, is my proudest achievement And also, if you will, this is the hardest one. Because before I doing that, I'm from big corporations. I work for Ring, that's one of market leader in HVAC industry, and I work for FedEx, this is century-old companies, listed, publicly listed company in New York Stock Exchange. I work for Haier and for GE Appliances. So these are all mega companies. And so this is, that give me a lot learning in corporate world, but that did not prepare me at all as an entrepreneur. Because if you start from nothing, when I work in this big corporation, I hate this corporate bureaucracy. But when I started my own operation, I found out this bureaucracy actually is good. Without them, nothing gets done. And all you have to do that all by yourself. That is a very tough process, and you really to force yourself to work on that day after day is just keep the going, because you don't know, right, that whether the progress will ultimately lead you to somewhere to success or not. You need the convictions. You have to believe in yourself that you will, at the end, you will succeed. So yeah, it is tough experience, and I really encourage the reader to pick up the book, and I really tell the things as is in the book.
Certainly. So, Mr. LT, you won many titles: executive, inventor, an author, son of a rural China. Which one still feels like an, fitting suit for you?
Daniel, I have a long career, and imperfect one, with many rejections, with detours, failure, as you mentioned, right, from academic world to industrial world, from engineering, and then go to sales and marketing, and then go to executive, and then being an entrepreneur. All these roles is a part of me. It is just a different chapter of me. And I will see that, this different role, but it's a consistent message or philosophy. I put this way, a way of living, if you will. And there's a central message through all these various roles, is when the door is closed, go in through the window. That is something I truly want to pass this message to the next generation, so they will learn a lesson from my journey, from our journey, so their path will be faster, will be less detour, if you will, and they will forge in their own path to success.
Well, Mr. LT, thank you for your legacy to the world. And to wrap up our discussion for today, you've broken through barriers. What barriers still stand stubbornly in front of people like you, and what would it take to dismantle it?
Yeah, in my long decades, if you will, long life or career path, there are many barriers or many of these closed door. This is somehow I realized that the door is not opened equally for everyone. And for some people it's straightforward. Perhaps you welcome in with flower and applause. For others, you have to wait. And yet for others, the door is completely closed, locked. So you have to find the another path. So this is this book is not just LT's story. This is something I want left to next generations, if you will. It's almost like a long family letter to next generation. That's why I wrote the book as a wise uncle in the book. I truly believe that because I see many of these examples, young people are very talented. Unfortunately, because their background, because their circumstances, and they struggled, but they was not recognized. They did not get that promotion they expected. Many of them, because of structural barriers, and they just give up. And because they try so many times, get bloody, and so what a waste. And I'm not saying that, hey, never give up. No, that but I say be more resourceful. That find another path, change your perspective. There is another path there. You never know. This path could be better than that the room you try to get in. You can build your own building, if you will. So this is how I view that the you can call it the window method, or this is the things I really want the young folks to learn.
Beautifully articulated, Mr. Alte. And can you please invite our listeners to support him through the window? Mr. Alte, where do people can buy your book?
My book at in Amazon, Amazon.com. If you search "In Through the Window" by Lintao Lu, you can get that. And I'm very much appreciate you pass to your colleague, to your sons and daughters, to next generation emerging leaders, and I hopefully wish that this book can share some light in their path.
Certainly, people support Mr. Lintao Lu or Mr. Alti, because if you support him, for sure more and more empowering book like this to rise. Mr. Alti, I will invite you again to please do come over on my other podcast, Entrepreneurship 101, and let's talk about your entrepreneurship mindset. So I have one more question before I will let you go. 10 years from today, when someone remembers Mr. Lintao Lu, what do you hope they feel?
I hope they not just remember Lintao Lu as an engineer, Lintao Lu as an entrepreneur, Lintao Lu, somebody built the NAVAC. They will see this guy is as ordinary as anybody, and with the background even worse than them, and from nowhere reach somewhere. So they will see that the ordinary guy did some extraordinary things, and they will say, hey, if LT can do it, I can do it.
Yes, that's the spirit. Again, Mr. LT, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
But young people, see you soon. Mr. LT, I will try to publish this episode